Good evening, my fellow entities, and we're gonna do something a little different tonight. I've decided to do a little ranking video for My Chemical Romance's albums. Now, let me be clear, I am doing only the 4 main albums. I know there are many others, like Conventional Weapons, and the many EPs and single albums, but yeah, if I do all those, this list would be way too long. So I'm just gonna do a top 4 of the 4 albums that they're most well known for and are their biggest albums. So no EPAs, no single albums. Let's get to it because I'm really excited because My Chemical Romance has been one of my favorite bands since middle school. Like, they are amazing, and I actually just got to go see them in concert last month with Cinema Witch, and it was amazing. I mean, you guys would never believe it. They are amazing in concert, and none of these albums can ever do them justice. So, let's start out with number 4. I Brought You My Bullets, You Brought Me Your Love. Most notable tracks: Honey, This Mirror Isn't Big Enough for the Two of Us, Vampires Will Never Hurt You, Drowning Lessons, Our Lady of Sorrows, Head First for Halos, and Demolition Lovers. Now, it's commonly known as their first album that came out in 2002. For me, let's be honest, I feel it's more like a compilation of different songs. I know, again, I said it was their first album, and judging by it, it definitely shows how much this band has grown since that album. Like, I mean, let's be honest, there is no story in this album, and some of the notable tracks, like Vampires Will Never Hurt You, Jared Way described it as just another track. Like, he claimed that it was just about vampires and that was it. And it's believed that it may have been influenced a bit because before creating the band, Jared was working on a comic book about vampires that he never finished. There's also Early Sunsets Over Monroeville, which is a reference to Dawn of the Dead, which, a bit random, I guess. He was a big fan of Dawn of the Dead. I mean, I personally am too, but another random song. There's also another song in the album that it references how Jared felt about 9/11, because if it wasn't for 9/11, he wouldn't have created the band. The song that I'm talking about is Skylines and Turnstiles. I get the reason for that album. I mean, it's not one of my favorite tracks on the album. I don't think I've ever actually heard it, but if I did, I don't remember it. It's not that memorable, but I can definitely understand the meaning. Moving on, number 3. 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge. Most notable tracks: Helena, Give 'Em Hell Kid, To the End, You Know What They Do to Guys Like Us in Prison, I'm Not Okay, I Promise, The Ghost of You, The Jet Set Life Is Gonna Kill You, Thank You for the Venom, It's Not a Fashion Statement, It's a Death Wish, Cemetery Drive, and I Never Told You What I Do for a Living. Now, starting out, this is a very emotional album. The first was based around the loss that Jared and Mikey's grandmother's death had on them, and it actually is notably one of their main hits of this album because of how dark it is, and I feel it kind of helped them gain their notable style. And again, rip Gerard and Mikey's grandmother. If it wasn't for her, they wouldn't have made such great music. Also, it's most known for "I'm Not Okay, I Promise," because it's seen as an anthem for the outcasts and those who have been bullied in school, and it tries to bring to light the crap that a lot of us went through in college. And I can definitely say it's an improvement on "I Brought You My Bullets and You Brought Me Your Love," because again, it has a lot more notable songs. It created the emo / pop punk / experimental sound that My Chemical Romance is mainly known for, and it's just one of their better albums, but again, it's not my favorite, and they still needed a bit more work just to get to their best. Moving on, number 2, Danger Days, the true lives of the fabulous Killjoys. Most notable tracks: Na 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 Na, Bulletproof Heart, Sing, Planetary Go, The Only Hope for Me Is You, Party Poison, Scarecrow, Summertime, Destroya, The Kids from Yesterday, and Vampire Money. Now to start, Scarecrow was heavily inspired by Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, one of my favorite songs by the Beatles, and I just love the way that this was done. I love the song in general. It gives you the terror that you're supposed to feel, because apparently Scarecrow in the comics that they wrote for this song, and in the song itself, apparently he is this hunter. He's very dangerous, and he does end up killing 2 of the members during one of the music videos, and it's just a really good, scary track. On top of this, again, like I said, they did make a comic book that explains what happens after the album. Apparently, during this year, there was also a sequel that they're working on. They actually recently released the first issue of the comic book. Next, Vampire Money was a response to those who tried to get My Chemical Romance to create a song for Twilight. I mean, personally, it feels like a huge diss against Twilight, and I love that. I love that so much because, let's be honest, who actually likes Twilight? It's one of the worst vampire movies out there, and go My Chemical Romance for pushing away all those people that told them to take a chance and make a song for that movie. I'm glad they moved on. Also, I'm gonna be honest, Summertime kinda sounds a bit like one of Inuyasha's intro songs, which I love a lot. I forget which part of the song, but it's just, I feel like I've heard the sound before, and that's what makes it one of my favorites on the track next to Na 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 and Scarecrow. Actually, let's be honest, Na 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 is a lot of people's favorite song on this album, because the music video is amazing. Apparently it's supposed to take place in 2019 in California, and it's got this very Mad Max-esque vibe to it. I love the costumes. I love the narration. I mean, Dr. Death Defy is one of the best narrators for an album, hands down. I mean, I love hearing him throughout this album, giving traffic reports, talking about the story of the Killjoys. He closes out the album before Vampire Money by your typical closeout for a radio show, and I just love him, and he is one of the best parts of this, and he definitely makes the Na 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 a really good song, even though I love the song in general, because just how it brings the audience into it. Like, you can't stop yourself from singing along to the lyrics, and just at the concert when I was there, the place lit up with the lyrics. Like, it's one of those songs that brings all of us fans of this band together, and it's just, I think it's in a lot of people's top 3. So, yeah. On top of that, my final thoughts for this one are, it's really fun and a really fast-paced story, but since it was the band's last album before they disbanded, it seemed to have had a less memorable impact than Black Parade. Which brings me to my number 1, The Black Parade. Most notable tracks: Welcome to the Black Parade, Teenagers, I Don't Love You, Mama, Dead, This Is How I Disappear, Famous Last Words, Blood, Disenchanted, Sleep, Cancer, and House of Wolves. Now, let me just say this now, before anyone gets mad. This list is my opinion only. I mean, I know a lot of people really like this album, but personally, this is my most listened to album. Like, Welcome to the Black Parade is the one song that I listen to the most. I can literally remember the lyrics word from word. I can hum the opening and most of the song so easily, because this is my anthem. This is one of My Chemical Romance's biggest hits, and it is one of the best songs out there. I mean, it's pretty much, the story about the song is, it's the man reminiscing as he's dying, and one of the memories that he has is his father bringing him to a parade when he was young, before he died, and now it's acting like an inspiration for this guy. And I feel like it's got a message that for those who are remembered, they will never truly die. If you remember someone, they will always be in your heart, and they will always be a part of you, and I believe that's what this track is ultimately saying. Like, it's kind of like the Coco of My Chemical Romance, because it's just so based in this guy's memories of his father and of the one time that he was happy, and just I don't know what else to say about it. It's just a really good song, and it is my favorite song out of all of these albums. On top of this, the story is one of the best parts of this album, telling the tale of a person who died of cancer, his time in the afterlife, and how he reflects on certain events of his life. Now, the album also has Blood, which is one of the band's most enjoyable yet short songs. Kind of wish it was a bit longer, but I love the insane antics of this song alone. Like, just, it feels like it's describing a really crazy guy who, every time, just the hospital loves him despite how insane he is. He constantly gives blood, and he's just like, I don't know, the guy is insane, and I feel it's like one of those insane asylum tracks where just, it's there to be fun, and it's there to be just as raunchy and crazy as possible. On top of that, a lot of people really like the song Teenagers, which kind of describes the idea of how certain parents feel about their kids. Like, this is real as hell. Like, so many parents are afraid of their kids, are afraid what their kids will become. They're afraid that all these medications that they're giving us, all these ADHD medications, all these medications in general are not helping, and they're a bunch of bull that the government is just trying, or these doctors are just selling. I can kind of relate because I used to be on medication for my ADHD and it did not work at all, and I can definitely relate to the song because it pretty much explains how I felt. Well, as a teenager, no one can help me, nothing can help me with these disabilities and these problems, and a lot of people didn't know how to handle me, and just, it's so relatable. That is my list. That is my top 4 of the My Chemical Romance albums. Let me know if you guys want to hear another ranking. I might do Breaking Benjamin, I could do AC/DC, I could do Led Zeppelin, Ozzy Osbourne, name a band, and I will do them, and just let me know. So yeah, have a great night, guys, and this has been my ranking.